in any instances in your life where you really work to get there, and then you got there and you were like, all these MNFers around me are wild mediocre, and I've been out here being a goddamn unicorn.
Exactly.
And they dusty ass horses. So I got an attitude all of a sudden. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, it's true, but I like that. Be like, I'm a unicorn. You're a dusty ass horse.
Oh, sea biscuit ass. Like,
cut it out. No, I do sometimes struggle with imposter syndrome, and I feel like for me, it really comes from the fact that I know that I am more than capable because I pull my weight and I do more than what everyone else does. But sometimes I know that there are people who are going to be like, but about that piece of paper though, right? So
okay.
sometimes with education, I feel that way, not because I don't know that I can do it. I oftentimes worry about, is someone else going to feel as though I am credentialed enough to continue to move up the ranks. But for me, I have observed and continue to observe people. Well, they do. They have all these credentials. They can have all the letters that they want, but they can't fucking execute. They can't fucking strategize. They don't deliver on results. And that becomes frustrating because you're telling me that I need XYZ, but meanwhile, like, what does that even matter anymore? I have all of this experience. So at this point, we've got to start leveling it out. And on top of that, I know that peer to peer, I outwork y'all. Like, I am the workhorse who outruns y'all all the time. And this ain't even sometimes 110%. Every once in a while, your girl get tired. Okay.
And you just be doing a little bit and still progressing, right?
Right.
I said it often. Like, I'll just be showing up a little bit.
I just show up. I'm not even like stressed to the point where I'm just like, this is so overwhelming. No, this is status fucking quo. Yeah. And what are you doing? Like, sometimes I'm like, are y'all just sitting at the computer, just staring at it, not doing anything? Like, how did you miss this? Or how did you do that? And sometimes too, things will come to me even from people above me. And I look at it and I'm just like, but this is wrong though. And how come no one else questioned it? Why? And sometimes it makes you stop and think, like, they couldn't have missed this on purpose. This must be on purpose. Because
sometimes I think it's a test. Sometimes you think it's a test. Yep. Like, you trying to see if I'm going to catch it?
Yes. I'm like, because it's no way.
No way all of y'all didn't see this.
Right. Right. So don't tell me that. And sometimes I think it's a bit of, some of it's just me, but then some of it is societal norms. And when you don't fit societal norms, then people buck at it. But fuck your system, bro. I am who I am. I pull my weight. I do everything that I need to do. And, maybe one day I'll feel inspired, but honestly, it's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to do, and that's why I'm not doing it. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, no, I do struggle with imposter syndrome, but only because I feel like other people are going to take issue at some point. And I guess the only other thing that I would touch on, I have seen people hook up their sorority and fraternity sisters. Yes. They look out. If no one else in our community looks out for each other, those AKA.
Oh my gosh, Pinky Green.
Who? Let that VP hit, okay? You ain't gonna be able to tell them shit.
And I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't see anything wrong with it either, with the caveat that the person is qualified. It's the same thing as, I would never just want you to hire a Black person just because you're trying to check out the EO box. They got to be qualified. I think that you should, and I think that in the event that that person is not qualified, then you should mentor them and take them under your wing so that you can get them to get the progression at the rate in which you see fit. But it has to, like, you can't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, it has to make sense.
Correct.
I agree. No. I agree. But there are some instances where talents are transferable. and they might not be something that is high up on the list of a job description or duties for a specific role, but they feed into that role transitioning a different way for the organization, and you don't know it unless you put someone who is more of a novice in that role. Sometimes you gotta take a chance on someone who hasn't had the years of experience, that 5 to 7 years that they like to throw out there. Sometimes you have to put people in their role to put a fresh eye on the organization and the procedures and policies that go into making that role absolutely supportive to the growth of the organization. Not all the time, but every once in a while you got to be like, he comes from a completely different industry. Let's throw it in there. This person only has this amount of years of experience. Put them in the C-suite. This person only has, a small amount of understanding, but they have that attitude, that malleable attitude, and they're a lifelong learner. And I can see the spirit in them for them to go the roads and the routes to figure out what they need in order to compensate for their lack of experience. And sometimes that can only be seen through other organizations because the candidate hasn't been able to exhibit it in their position, but perhaps in those outside organizations. So that's the only thing that I say.
And
so I am not a sorority member because that's a lot. Y'all know I don't like calling nobody nothing, and let alone somebody my sister. And
not even sometimes y'all be on some goofy shit too. I don't like people telling me
we're not trying to isolate people.
Goofy shit.
No, okay. My only thing is like, and I definitely agree with you with that, Toy. But then at the end of the day, who are you going to have train them? It's going to be the same person that was qualified for that job, but because you wanted a new face. Because don't turn to me, because I ain't a team player. Clearly, I'm gonna be like,
I can't.
Jesus Christ. We keep talking about this.
No, I know, but
help her.
You're going to
teach one. You're gonna lift her up.
You're going to have to explain to me, and from A to Z as to why. Because if you want a fresh face, what you need me to do? Nip, tuck, snip, come in with some different colors, like what you want. Because clearly, this person. All you wanted was a different face, and I know
it's a different background. It's an assortment.
It's a different background.
Exposure. It's an assortment of exposure. It's an opportunity for someone to have had connections and had conversations and different platforms in which they've been exposed to that they perhaps can bring that experience.
So bring them as a consultant and promote the person that actually deserved it.
Consultants are expensive, and companies don't like paying for consultants until it's dire. No, it's a lot for a consultant.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, I do agree with that to an extent, because sometimes when people are in roles for a long time, they bring their bad habits with them.
Yeah, sure. And they try to pass it down. Like, this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. This is how you're going to do it. And you're like, don't nobody want to do it like this. Correct. It's not working.
Yeah, they do have tribal knowledge that they only hold, and we've seen it. We've all seen it. We've been at companies where someone has been there for eons and eons, and you ask them why you're doing something, and they're like, "Because this is the way we always done it." I hate that. Don't tell me that because so you never question it. You never ask why we were doing this. This don't make no sense, but you just continue to do it. Mm-hmm. So I definitely can appreciate that.
I'm gonna ask all the questions. Sorry,
I do too.
And then sometimes even in my head, like, this might make this person uncomfortable, and then I say it, and they be like, "Good question." Yeah, good question. They go, "Well, why don't you know?" Correct. Like, what we sit here doing?
You've been here 32 years.
We just going around the mulberry bush, running around in circles.
Yeah, no,
that's interesting. Okay, so my last thought. I don't want to say question, but my last thought, baby, is the concept that play is only considered for children and then rest has to be earned. I think for me personally, that's something that I've been learning in the past couple of years, that play and rest are important to balance how hard you work. Like, I can work myself to the bone to the point where I'm, tap dancing on a depression and won't talk to nobody because I've exhausted myself. But I have to remember that, okay, what can counter this? That is taking myself out of this mindset and not neglecting my duties in my position or role, but taking the opportunity to enjoy, stop and smell the roses and all of that. And the rest part is the thing for me, because it's like I will work and work and work and work hours, 14 hours, 18 hours, and just keep it pushing. And then be like, okay, now I can rest. I feel like I earned that rest. But I also know in the back of my mind that that's not okay. And I'll be completely transparent and honest with y'all. Right now, I'm having a crisis of my mortality. My father, he worked in the same industry, the broader industry that I worked in, and he had his first heart attack at 38. Well, I'm 36 years old. So in my head, it's like, okay, bitch, check your heart. Now I done already had two. I had my first echocardiogram when I was 30. I had my second when I was 35. And my doctor, she's a beautiful lady, amazing person. She be dealing with my bullshit. She's like, you're fine. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, sis, like, check it out. Let me tell you why. Like, so the rest aspect, what is it that we can infuse into our community, or folks who are working in the same spaces that we're working, or who have the same mindsets that we have, to let them understand that play is not just for children. It's important. Like, you have to goof off. You have to, let stuff go. You have to not have, all of your work emails come into your phone, responding to work emails 24/7.
Right.
You have to take the opportunity to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to sleep. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to sleep for 10 hours. I'm going to sleep. Like, I give myself 6 to 8, but I always wake up anyway. Like, even if I take like a quote sedative, I'm up. My brain's like, girl, we got stuff to do. I don't really know how to shut it off. Are there any tips or advice or things that you would like to put into your life that would help with play and rest?
My job is, I think out of the three of us, I think I would say I have the most chill job, thankfully. And I think that's because I go in the mindset of y'all are not going to kill me at the end of the day. I have experienced burnout with the positions that I've had and the outside activities that I am involved in. And I was not helpful to myself. I was not helpful to my child. I was not helpful to my family or anything, because I was miserable. I was tired. I was cranky. And I just know I kind of always try to remember that feeling, and just saying, if I know I'm even inching towards it, that you need to pull up. So like when I'm at work, I mean, my coworkers, they're goofy and they just do things I'm not going to be a part of. Like they fly drones and play darts. That's not me. And we're in the office. I'm just looking at them like, all right. So, but I'm over at my desk. I have crossword puzzles. So I'll go for a walk, because I'm not going to sit at my desk for 8 hours and drive myself crazy about this process that y'all should have fixed a long time ago. I just try to keep that feeling at the back of my mind. But really what companies are trying to do is instill work-life balance. And it's like, take those opportunities that they're giving you and actually use them. I think that in a way, COVID was a blessing, especially for me in disguise, because not so much for work, but the things I were doing outside, I was about to spiral, because there were so many responsibilities that it was just by myself, where most people had others to assist. In the positions that I held, it was because people just saw, oh, she got it. And it was like, nah, like y'all about to see me spiral. And once I'm out, I'm the Tasmanian devil and there's no coming back. So I think that this time in our lives, it sucks being stuck. But for me, I've had to look at it a blessing in disguise. Like, you were 2 seconds away from being committed and hugging yourself permanently with a blanket around you. So I think it's important just to know your body, know what's going on, and know when to say no also.
If I'm honest, I could take a smooth commission right now. I could take somebody saying, okay, we're going to send you away for a little bit. And if they would take care of my kids right, relax. I don't want a straight jacket. But like, if I could just sleep in a room and somebody make my meals, nigga, for like literally not for long, like 15 days. Give me 2 weeks and I can just sleep.
Yeah. It's a beautiful.
I can just sleep and you bring me my food and I don't have to do nothing. That sounds wild selfish, but it's just like,
but it's needed.
Ooh, I understand why the quote rich and the wealthy, they have.
Yeah, they got their islands, they got their nannies and stuff. Because even
and their drug addictions. Because
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying start sniffing nothing, but you need some little